These are movie franchises that got progressively worse with each new film in the franchise versus ones that actually got better over time. I think the Michael Bay Transformer films is the perfect example of a franchise just getting progressively worse with each one. Like the first Transformers movie, I think is a really solid, just dumb fun action movie, some good moments all throughout it and really funny moments too. But then after the first one, this is the release order of the films, and I'm not gonna lie, this would almost be my exact ranking of them from best to worst in this order. I think the only exception is Dark of the Moon could easily be moved up to second or maybe even first on this list, but the other ones just completely fall in line. And then these Bay movies kind of end with Transformers The Last Night, which is just one of the biggest flaming turds of an almost 3 hour long movie I've ever seen in my life. The modern Planet of the Apes trilogy with Caesar is kind of the complete opposite. It starts off with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That's a perfectly fine and solid movie, but it's easily the weakest of this new modern trilogy. Then the franchise lands Matt Reeves to direct the next one in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and it's a massive upgrade in pretty much every way, shape, or form, and is actually a really good movie overall. And then you get to War for the Planet of the Apes, that I think is legitimately an amazing film on its own, and it serves as a great ending for Caesar as a character. I'm just so glad they didn't give up on this new franchise after the first Rise of the Planet of the Apes, because we never would have got the absolute masterpiece that is War if we gave up after the first one. I still stand by my take that Jurassic Park should have been in one and only one film, and we never should have got any sequels to this. There's the original Jurassic Park sequels we got back a long time ago that are okay in their own right, but don't even come remotely close to the original one. And I'm sorry, it just keeps getting worse and dumber with the Jurassic World ones. I thought they were off to a good start with the very first Jurassic World film, but then by the time we got to Dominion again, it just got stupider and stupider. So this one definitely got pretty much worse with every film in my opinion. I'm not rating the franchise completely off yet though, because we are getting Jurassic World Rebirth next year with Scarlett Johansson, so hopefully that film can be a good new ground for this franchise. I think John Wick's another great example of a franchise just improving with every film. I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm not the biggest fan of John Wick Chapter 2. I haven't rewatched it in a while, so I definitely need to, but I think it's at least on par with the first John Wick movie. And then we get John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, that I think is a definite upgrade. And then we finally end with John Wick Chapter 4, that is just a complete masterpiece of an action film. Like, it was seriously one of my favorite 2023 movies. It is so much more bigger and epic than the other films in every way, shape, or form. And I really hope this is also the end of the John Wick franchise, because it's a perfect ending. I know people hate my Shrek takes, but I don't care. I gotta speak my truth. I think this franchise does get progressively worse. Now, I do enjoy Shrek 2 as a film, and I'll go as far as saying I think it's a funnier movie than Shrek, but I think Shrek is the better just story straight up. If you really made me choose, I think I'd say Shrek Forever After is slightly better than Shrek the Third, but honestly, they're both not very good. So I think this franchise definitely fits into the category of just getting worse over time, because at least the first two Shreks are really solid and enjoyable films. The third and fourth ones are just not that good at all. Again, Shrek 5 is going to be coming out soon, so hopefully it can kind of be a return to form of the earlier Shrek movies. I think Harry Potter kind of fits into this mold, not exactly getting progressively better with each individual movie, but if you especially compare the first two Harry Potter movies, I think those are easily the weakest of the entire 8-film series, and they're kind of the weakest books too, because they're targeted for the youngest kids. They're the simplest and shortest stories, and they just don't really have a lot. I do really love the book still, but I don't think the movies are that great, and Chamber of Secrets in particular is just not good. This doesn't perfectly fit because Prisoner of Azkaban is actually my favorite one, but I think if you just kind of accept that that's the best one and remove it, you can kind of say I think Goblet is easily better than 1 and 2, and then you get to the fifth one, Order of the Phoenix. I think that's better than Goblet before it. I'd say Half-Blood Prince is probably at the same level or better than Order of the Phoenix. And then the Deathly Hallow movies, I think the first one is just a really great part 1, and part 2 is an amazing final to the series. Even though they did change and butcher some stuff from the book, I still think it's an amazing movie. But if you're like me and Prisoner of Azkaban is your favorite, it kind of makes this not work, but if you just exclude that one film, this definitely gets progressively better with each one. Hangover films are another one that have a really just great comedy staple as the first one, and they said, hey, we gotta cash in on this and make sequels, and I kind of wish they never did. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I didn't laugh at all during the other Hangover movies. I definitely did. There's funny moments all throughout them, but they're nowhere close to the level of just being a comedy classic as the first one, and they definitely just kind of lost a lot of steam with the both sequels. Like, the second's worse than the first, and the third is easily the worst one of them, in my opinion. Toy Story is kind of a weird one. Let me know where you guys fall on this one in the comments below, because I think there's a big argument to be made that Toy Story 2 is actually better than the first one. I know that's kind of unpopular, but I kind of think I lean that way myself, and I do think there's a good argument to say that Toy Story 3 is the best of them. So this was getting progressively better. Then Toy Story 4 came along, and I think we can all agree this is easily the weakest Toy Story movie. Hopefully Toy Story 5 doesn't continue this trend, because otherwise we're going to have a franchise that's kind of halfway getting progressively better, hitting a point where it should have ended, and then they just kept going for no reason at all and getting progressively worse with each one. Since I mentioned Harry Potter, I gotta mention the Fantastic Beasts films, because I actually think the first Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movie is a very enjoyable film. It doesn't come anywhere close to any of the Harry Potter movies in my opinion, but it has its own level of charm in it. Then you get Crimes of Grindelwald that was like, hey, the series is kind of losing its focus a little bit, not the greatest sequel. Let's see what they can do with The Secrets of Dumbledore. Spoiler alert, nothing good. This movie is just an absolute travesty. This franchise was kind of hurt by having a lot of messy storylines going on, in my opinion. It was not helped by major characters pretty much being recast in each of these films, and them definitely expecting to get a fourth film, because this was definitely left pretty open-ended. Then the movie absolutely flopped, and it doesn't seem like we're ever going to get this, especially since the next Harry Potter thing that's confirmed is now them just rebooting the movies and books into a TV series instead. If you're still watching at this point, thank you very much for still being here, and I want to let you guys know I'm going to start reacting to Gravity Falls for the very first time soon. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments if you think I should post them on this channel or a second channel. I really value your guys' feedback, and thank you so much for watching.